Intentional living is thinking before you do something. And that thinking causes you to do something in such a beautiful, intentional way that it adds values to others. I've got a question to ask you right now. What do you cry about? Now, why am I asking you this question? Because when I was a freshman in college in Psych 101, we had a visiting teacher come, and he basically looked at us and he said, throughout your entire life, there are 3 questions you're going to want to ask yourself if you really want to make a difference in the lives of people and in your own life. And the first question he threw out was, what do you cry about? He went on to explain, what breaks your heart? What disturbs you? What causes so much emotional pain that you want to take action to make that situation better and to heal it? And I can tell you that what makes me cry is seeing people who live without intentionality. It breaks my heart. And let me tell you why it breaks my heart. There are so many of them. And if they just knew what I knew, that it doesn't take a lot of effort, it doesn't take a lot of brilliance to live an intentional life. It takes a decision to be intentional. And that decision, that desire to live intentionally will make a small change in your life, but it will make a big difference in your life and the lives of others. And one of the things I share with people is this. When they say, well, okay, John, how do I think intentionally? What I say to them is very simple. Before you do something, think on the front end of the desired results you want in that encounter. You see, most people, if they would just give a minute or two to think on the front end before they do something, before they talk to someone, they could get such a higher return because they become intentional in the beginning. Here's what I've discovered. If you're not intentional in the beginning, at the back end, you'll think about it because you'll say, wow, I was hoping for that to be better. I was a little disappointed in that. That didn't turn out like I thought. You see, thinking on the front end is 10 to 1 as far as value to you than thinking on the back end. Here's what I know. If you'll think on the front end and be intentional, when you think on the back end, your thoughts will be positive. But if you don't think on the front end, when you get to the back end, your thoughts will be filled with disappointment and you'll just kind of sigh and say, I was really hoping for that to turn out better. What was the difference? Intentional living. Intentional living is thinking before you do something. And that thinking causes you to do something in such a beautiful, intentional way that it adds values to others. So the big idea for today is this. When you identify with what makes you cry, for me, again, what makes me cry is people who do not live intentionally. But once you identify what hurts you, what emotionally just bothers you and disturbs you, then what you do is you tap into this. You say, okay, this is what bothers me. And the moment that you declare it and identify it, you receive what I would call a major piece of the puzzle for your purpose, for your why of existence. And you begin seeing your pathway to a life that really begins to count and matter. For now, for today, just think about what moves you emotionally. And then try to bring healing to that situation. Try to do something positive that's something that kind of affects you negative so that you can just lift it up a little bit today.